We're live, but we're not live everywhere. So we're going to give it a moment to kick off and, let everybody start joining in. We're going to get some trickles here. But for you guys who are here, I'm going to tell you what you're here for. You are here for the Rancher Desktop 1.0.0 release party. And we're not going to be talking necessarily about form and feature, and maybe a little bit of functionality about Rancher Desktop, but we're actually going to watch Mr. Farina here go live with everything. And that's what's going to be interesting about this. We've all talked about open source projects, but you're going to see what it's going to take to actually flip the switch for this. I am told, though, that, and Matt will correct me if I'm wrong, is that this is kind of the same process they do for every release. So every time there's a release for a project or a product here at the SUSE Ranch community, or in software in general, there's a lot of work on the behind the scenes that some people know about, and you guys get to see today. So, Matt, welcome.
Hello. Yes, I'm happy to give you a little behind the scenes today, so you can see what goes on with making a release. In fact, I'll share my screen if you want to get started with that, and
let's
walk you through
go.
what we've got here. All right. You should be able to see my screen now.
We do. It says Rancher Desktop 1.0.0.
And you'll see it's a draft.
Yeah.
So we've got a draft release because this is the source of where the release comes out of, where the release assets are, and what's put together. So some of the stuff that we do beforehand is, of course, we write up these quick release notes you can see here. But you'll also see we had to generate a whole bunch of assets that go along with it for Mac on Intel, for Mac on the Apple Silicon, for Windows, for Linux. All those things got to get generated. And they all get generated in different environments, and it takes time. So when we cut the tag, it actually takes a while before anything goes out the door as far as a release goes, because then we've got to build everything. And a bunch of this is built in CI, Windows and Mac all have to be signed. Mac also notarized. There's a whole bunch that goes into all of that. So after we cut the tag and we let CI do its stuff, and then we got to go through and sign everything. And those signing keys are stored offline and everything. It takes a little while to put all of that together to generate this. And the like the SHA-512 some files you see, that's actually part of the updates. You've got those automatic updates that pull down. It actually wants to check the thing that it downloaded against the SHA to make sure, did I download what I expected? So that way it doesn't get cut off somewhere, or there's a problem with downloading or something malicious happens in between. It can check and then fail out of those updates because it didn't match the hash it was looking for. So we generate all those things. And so this is really the basics of what it is now. We did all of this ahead of time, so that way we could get on the call here and send it public and cut the release, which is as simple as going in and editing it, and then publishing it. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So we'll go ahead and publish this release. Uh-oh. What happened? It didn't like me publishing it. Let's try that again. I did not choose the tag. What do you know? What do you know? This is what happened. I failed to do that. So we choose the tag. Now it's live. It's based on version 1.0.0, and it's up. Now the next step we have to do is actually update the Rancher Desktop website, right? We need to say that it's live, it's there. You can see what's going on here. And so we'll go in. I have a pull request, and this brings in some new design elements and things like that. And we're just going to merge it. We did this all ahead of time in prep for it. So that way it can be updated to reflect the newness, the 1.0, that kind of thing. So I'll go ahead and merge this design
now
change.
With the Rancher Desktop website, this is GoHugo.io is what we're using for that.
This is a Hugo site.
Okay.
And it's managed through GitHub Pages and GitHub Actions, just like so many other projects do.
Okay.
And so CI is building the deploy right now. Fingers crossed it all works.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Do you have any questions about this process as we go through it? Every time we do a release, we will be updating this website here, at least a little bit to tweak it.
Okay. And with this website, people should know that you can always find the latest information on Rancher Desktop at rancherdesktop.io. So this is the website that Matt's currently publishing, right? And for
Yeah.
you guys who are just joining us on the stream, any of the any of the late stragglers, this is the release of Rancher Desktop 1.0.0, and we're watching Matt hopefully not mess it up, but we're watching him flip the switch and publish everything else out there. So we have the latest and greatest GA release of Rancher Desktop.
Yep. Now you'll notice the website does have things like an old video right now. That's going to go away. There's going to be a bunch of changes because things have changed over time. So we'll give it a minute.
Now,
and
Rancher, is it going? Is it thinking about it?
It thought about it.
No,
it seems to be having.
I don't think it's all there. Wow.
It seems there is a problem with the new site. I wonder if it's a caching problem. Did we just find a bug?
I think we're all going to go and try it.
Yeah, try it yourself. See if you have the same bug I do.
Oh yeah,
try it in a different browser.
Edge is Edge is working nicely. Nicely as in I see the same thing you do. Oh, he's saying.
Well, I know what I'm doing afterwards. So if people want to watch me crash and burn, this is the time to do it. Oh, it's failing to load some resources right now. All right. I will have to go look at that. All those CSS and JavaScript files that you're supposed to have just failed to load. So we need to go figure out exactly what happened there. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing because we did have a little blip. Now in testing, everything worked, which is always that lovely thing.
Well, as I go over to the GitHub page, the beautiful part about the GitHub page is it's there. I can see it. So that's working. And I'm actually going to do it right now. I'm not going to wait. So I'm excited for this. Matt, this project has been on for a little over a year now. First conceptualized of an easy way to get Kubernetes on someone's desktop to develop, build against. From what you imagine and envision to now, how much has changed?
A lot, quite frankly. When we originally put this out here, it was just really a wrapper around Minikube to try to improve that experience on Mac. And that was really the very first revision of where we got started, because there are just so many people who work in the Kubernetes space who are on Mac, and it wrapped Kubernetes, or Minikube specifically, wrapped in a VM, just to try to get all of this up and running. And we knew we'd eventually have to get to Windows. I was surprised at how soon we pulled in Linux releases, because there was demand for people on GNU Linux desktops who wanted to have this. And we've had stronger demand than I had anticipated. And then, of course, the whole change to expose nerdy control and bring in a Docker CLI and Moby and Dockerd was not something we ever envisioned up front, but it came through listening to users, seeing their needs and what's going on. To try to figure that out. So a lot has pivoted and changed over time as we tried to kind of feel out what is that need and listen to people, because we really want to solve that developer problem, right? I need Kubernetes on my desktop. I'm working with containers. What tools do I need to be successful with that? Because as people are using Rancher and Kubernetes, they need to be successful with that locally to run it there.
Now, for me personally, I run this exclusively on my local Mac, my personal and my work Mac. I only run this. I eat the dog food, and I've loved it. And I've been, I don't want to say evangelizing, but it's one of those where when I first saw it, I was like, finally somebody. And if you guys remember the Cloud Foundry days back in the day, we had PCF. Pivotal had their PCF dev instance, right? And it was bulky, it was wonky, and then when you try to run it, ate every bit of resources up. There wasn't a great GUI to it. And then come a few years later, you guys over in E&I have brought us this you brought Kubernetes to our desktop with relative ease, with some of the best functionality any developer needs.
Well, thank you. I hope so.
So we actually have, and this is what I love about the community that we have here at the Susan Rancher, is that someone actually said that you have your domain and your base URL. So it's literally rancherdesktop.io. So in the comments, someone actually showed you what was wrong with it, and so it's in there twice. So when you work on it later, someone actually helped and did some troubleshooting for you.
Yes, I was just looking at that. Here we go.
Now, so we flipped over everything. Rancher Desktop 1.0.0 is live. Is hit GA. We're excited about it, but we're not going to necessarily talk about Rancher Desktop because we actually have an event. We have a global online meetup where we get to interact more with the community. I have some questions going up here that people are asking. We're trying to answer some of them that we can, but we're actually going to take a deeper dive with it coming up in February. In fact, I'm going to tweet out here in a minute as the actual date of that, and that is going to be that is February 16th, and I'll send out a link for sign up for that. And this is where Matt and company. And are you going to bring anybody else from E&I who's contributed to this to help co-present with you for that, or is it just going to be you this time?
I think it's just going to be me this time talking about it. I have not figured out exactly the whole agenda and everything yet. So if people have input of things they want to see, feel free to ping me online, and I'm glad to talk about it. But yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask for a demo, and since I have you got to give us a demo, right?
Sure. Yeah, and somebody just found a really interesting thing that we totally missed.
What?
In the general tab, it says it's beta. So thank you for catching that. Somehow all the developers on there, which is more than a half dozen, we all miss that. I guess we gloss over that a little bit too often. Thank you for pointing that out.
All right. So I am going to be tweeting out here in a moment the sign up for the global online meetup for Rancher Desktop. Obviously, Matt's taking input. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Farina, and you can follow me on Twitter at Robert Sirk. Ask those questions. If you're not on Twitter, join us in the community at community.susi.com and ping us there. Put a post up of what do you want to see with Rancher Desktop. I have my visions of what the demo should be. I'd like to see if push an app, test an app, almost similar to what we did with Summer is Open, but maybe take it a little. A step further, right? Just step into it a little bit. And for you guys who don't know, some of the great features that we have in this project or product now is, and I love it because I'm notorious for destroying clusters, is the reset Kubernetes button. I love it. Can't get enough of it. It is one of the best. It was one of the best features out there. And in fact, I actually had a bug. I found a bug in it. And I was messaging Matt. I was about to give a presentation at CodeMash. I'm about to talk about KubeWarden, and Rancher Desktop failed at me. The first time it dropped the ball. And it wasn't because of Rancher Desktop. It was because my network stunk, and I got halfway through updating Kubernetes, and it just hung. And I couldn't fix it. And just struggling. Long story short, found out that we didn't have the factory reset button wasn't enabled, and so that's a bug, and hopefully we'll get that fixed. But my demo was done on my personal laptop on Rancher Desktop with ease, and I didn't make the mistake of restarting it because it goes out to the internet and pulls things down. So like I said, I use it, I love it. Seeing some questions here. Oh, that's a great presentation. John Pugh from SUSE and Ranch Community. John's put up there the test the upgrades of K8s in an app is one of our. That's awesome. And it's like, oh, is this going to break when I upgrade Kubernetes? You can deploy your app to your desktop, do the upgrade, and with a high level of confidence. Just that's game changer for a lot of people, especially when you're testing, if making sure your app's going to work instead of spinning up something, redeploying it. Developers can go, hey, yeah, I feel comfortable with upgrading. Go ahead, ops, upgrade Kubernetes for us.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that testing that is huge. In fact, I've been burned by upgrading Kubernetes and then having something broken. In fact, I remember at one time the one that burned me was cron jobs. I upgraded Kubernetes and I expected my cron jobs to just keep running, and I didn't pay attention. And then days later, we realized the cron jobs had stopped running, and that was a problem. The website is fixed and up.
Okay. I just tweeted at the link, and I'll get it on all of our other socials here coming up of the Rancher Desktop Global Online Meetup. So,
all right,
we got some people commenting coming through here. Is the website working now? Did we check it?
The website is working. I'm actually, if you want to put up my share, I can show it.
Yeah, let me. Brand's going to share again. Ooh, very nice.
So here's the new website. The top expands. So if it's a smaller window, this text is smaller, but it tells you what it is. Then there's the download area. And then we touch on features, how it works. The new design was all done by Lauren, who did a fantastic job coming up with all of this. And of course, if you want to get involved or if you need support, we do have details in the bottom. It's community level support at the moment. But this is the new designed site, and you can get to the docs. The docs are something that they're starting small, but it's an area we're now going to put emphasis on to expand on those docs, because as things were changing and we were forming and norming, it's hard to document and then keep those up to date. But a number of these things are not going to change now as we just fix bugs and expand on features and things. A bunch of the things that people have come to depend on hopefully won't change. So when we write up the docs, they're going to be a little bit more stable and easier to maintain.
So you mentioned something, and we have a lot of people from our community who are on this live feed, and we have a lot of people who are new to the SUSE Rancher community and probably learning about Rancher Desktop right now. Some of the best feedback we get, and I can see it somewhere. If you guys know me, the chat window is up here, and I'm looking at chat. They're finding like little issues. If Matt, can you bring up GitHub and show people real quick? Like if you're finding stuff in there, Matt won't be able to fix everything right now, but if you're finding those little issues, feel free to go up there into GitHub. First of all, give us a star if you like the project. Open source stars are like currency for us. But if you find an issue, log a bug, right? And that's some of the best feedback we can get for the NI teams.
Yep. So if you find an issue, come here, file a bug. We actually have different kinds, right? So you can file a bug report, feature request, or if you want to get into reporting a security vulnerability, we have a process for that. But if you find a bug, and I'm sure there's some out there, some people I've read in the comments, feel free to file a bug and we'll get on it.
All right. So we got the bugs coming in. We got this tweeting out right now, and I'll be posting on our other social channels the link for the Global Online Meetup. We would love for you guys to join us for that. We are going to take a deeper dive with Rancher Desktop, show some of those features, answer some of those questions. And the question I get constantly is this my Docker desktop replacement? And I can't answer that question. I don't even think Matt can answer it because I don't think it's one for one, but those questions do come in.
Yeah, and I've been asked this a lot, and I'm a longtime Docker desktop user who's switched entirely to using Rancher Desktop. And I've been able to do the switch, but I know mileage varies for different people who are doing different things. If you're doing Windows containers instead of Linux containers, we're not there now. There's some things where we're working on feature parity, but it's just not there yet. And so I think everybody needs to try it for themselves and decide for themselves on what they're going to go do. But it just kind of depends.
I'm actually typing it out right now, desktop. All right, guys. So a lot of good information here. We have a lot more coming. If you have questions, you have comments, you have concerns, you can find us in our Slack channel. You can find us on Twitter. One of the best places to ask your question, SUSE or community.suse.com. And if you find a bug, log a bug, right?
Yeah, if you find a bug, I'm trying to capture everybody's things that they found, so we can go and try to clean it up afterwards.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
Because
coming in here, and I think this was kind of the cool way of, hey, let's put Matt on the spot, let's let him flip the switch, and then let's let the community find what they can find. And you know what, no one's perfect, no project's perfect, but we actually got the opportunity to do this live in a new format, and we're actually streaming on 4 different channels right now. We're here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and the last one, LinkedIn. So we're actually on multiple channels to try to reach you guys, bring some exciting, something new, and you'll be seeing more and more of this type of format where we come and bring it live. We're flipping a switch. We want you to join us for what this looks like. Is there? Ooh, here's a quick question, Sebastian. Is there any limitation for Dr. Desktop corporations? I don't know, Sebastian. It's a great question. I don't know if I can answer that.
what I guess that I will add is for Docker Desktop, they did announce some licensing changes
Okay.
last year that come to an end at the end of January. The things change in January, and so I would just suggest go reading up on those and looking at what they mean to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. And again, it's not we play nicely in the ecosystem. We're not here to compete. We're here to help complement. So if Rancher Desktop has replaced your Docker Desktop, we're happy to hear that. If you're using them, interchangeably, we're using both. We're obviously happy to hear that as well.
Yeah.
For me, I do a lot of my work and deployment to Linux, so it's basically my go-to right now for a lot of my demos, my testing that I'm doing. It's Rancher Desktop for me. I ran I actually got to run a Minecraft server from Rancher Desktop the other day, just to see if I could. And yes, you can. So I should write it up. And I'm not a big Minecraft. My kids love it, so I got a chance. I'm like, can I do this first? Because under the hood, it's still K3S, and I'm like, if it runs here, I wonder if I can just run that server for my kids on a Raspberry Pi, and it should work.
Okay.
Hold on. There's a good question here. Would you let Rancher Desk RD be free in the future? Rancher Desktop's free right now. You can go out there. You can download it. There's community level support to it, so you can. It's free. Go forth and
free and open source. I mean, you can literally get the source code yourself and build it. The one thing you'll know is on Mac and Windows, you'll be warned about it being unsigned when you build it yourself, just like as if it's unsigned coming out of our CI system, because those systems both have different signing and verification mechanisms they do.
Awesome. All right. Well, as we wrap up here, we've got a good solid 20-minute show in. Matt, is there anything else you want to reach out? You have millions of people worldwide able to watch you right now. Is there anything else you want to parting words?
I guess I would just ask, take Rancher Desktop for a spin. Let us know what you think. And we're just trying to build something useful and try to continually improve on that experience. So we're open to feedback, and we hope y'all can become happy users.
And I've got to know Matt over the past couple months of working here at SUSE and Rancher. One of the things I've learned is he has some tough skin, so he can take it. And so constructive feedback and criticism the man can take, and the team as well, because he might be the face of the team, but there's a lot of great individuals also contributing to this Rancher Desktop project.
Yeah, I'm just the one who is a little bit of a loudmouth and willing to get up and talk in all of these places. And I actually love the harsh criticism, because there's always something in there we can learn and turn into something useful from it.
Awesome. So if you guys haven't signed up already, I've tweeted out the links. I got to get to the YouTube channel. I'll do that here in a few minutes. For the global online meetup for Rancher Desktop, again, we're going to take a deeper dive. Matt is soliciting feedback, so if there's certain things that you want to see, there's some core things I guarantee they're going to be in there, like upgrading Kubernetes with an application deployed and still seeing how it works. But if there's certain things that you want to see, reach out, let us know. You can do that again on Twitter. But one of the better ways to do it, learn a lot more about SUSE and Rancher and the community and what projects we have is at community.suse.com. Matt's trolling in there quite frequently, answering questions. So we always love your feedback in there as well. Awesome. All right. Well, Matt, I want to thank you. This is great. This is a lot of fun. We should do this. I'm sure we're going to do this again. But
So.
we want to thank you. And for everybody who's joined us, thank you. We appreciate it. And until next time. Thank you.
Thanks.